Salutations everyone, this is Razor, bringing you guys up to speed once again on one of the greatest comic book characters in history, The Flash, who is definitely one of the most important characters in comic book history, as well as arguably one of the best, and those two claims are not disconnected. And I'm mainly talking about Barry Allen here, the Silver Age Flash, the most well-known Flash, but also as well as the character in general. He sort of is the embodiment of what the Flash means, and you might hopefully learn a little bit of something. First of all, Barry Allen, he is the second person to be holding the mantle of the Flash, the first being Jay Garrick of the Golden Age of Earth 2. But Barry Allen is the reason that all speedsters exist. Well, I shouldn't say all, but pretty much all speedsters exist. He is the one who created the Speed Force through his birth as a superhero when he was struck by lightning and doused with chemicals. He not only gave himself the power of tapping into the Speed Force, but he granted everyone throughout time, both before his time and way after his time, the ability to tap into the Speed Force, which is a super dimensional energy force, also a Valhalla for speedsters in a way, that he himself created through the accident of him becoming the Flash. And every other speedster has him to thank for their powers. And there's just way too many to name. If you think the Flash is the only fast guy out there, you are severely mistaken. It's definitely the most common superpower amongst many heroes and villains. Although this does not take away anything from the Flash, but you got Captain Swift, Yellow Streak, Speed Demon, Savitar, Hurricane, the terrific XS, Impala, Impulse, all the different Flashes, of course, and the Kid Flash, Inertia, Johnny Quick, Jesse Quick, Max Mercury, the Tornado Twins, Professor Zoom, aka the Reverse Flash, who is his arch enemy, and a bevy of other characters. I'm sure there's not enough time to go over the entire mythos of the Flash and all of the speedsters and the Speed Force. It's very, very intricate. It's very, very complicated, and I do not have the time or patience to explain to you guys in a short video, but if you would like me to do that in a separate video, that's fine. But I cannot recommend enough to read pretty much anything of the Flash. He is one of the most, you can argue for the Flash and Barry Allen specifically, but the mantle of the Flash to be the most important character in the DC universe. You have more argument towards the Flash being the most important character than anybody else, and I will explain to that. It might sound a little far-fetched, but it's absolutely true. And you could also argue that he's one of the best, which, you know, those two things do coincide to some respect. Take a look at the history of the DC universe. I'll just give you a quick rundown. The Golden Age, and as well as, you know, the beginning of the Silver Age, the Flash was really, you could say, the first of the Silver Age heroes, and is the age in characters that most of us know of today. Throughout the Golden Age, there wasn't really any continuity throughout the DC universe. They all did loosely exist in the same world, and there were some crossovers, but they all didn't have a continuous storyline to all share a part of. And not until the Flash shows up does this become a reality. He runs so fast that he vibrates to another dimension. He goes to Earth 2, which houses all of the Golden Age heroes, and discovered the multiverse. And this gave the writers, you know, a continuity that they can stick to, as well as all these other different multiverses, you know, alternate storylines or Elseworld storylines that they can use, and it makes sense in the canon because this is just another separate alternate universe. It's very easily explained, and also gave all of the heroes in the Silver Age, as well as, you know, all the way to today, a continuity, a shared storyline that they can all take a part of. And when you take a look at any major change in the DC universe since then, it all hinges on the Flash. Just think about it. Crisis on Infinite Earths. The Flash sacrifices himself so that the multiverse can still exist. No other hero can boast this. Not Superman, not Batman, not Wonder Woman, not Aquaman. Nobody nobody can say, you can't say this of any other character, that they sacrificed themselves for absolutely everything and anything that existed, and will exist. You cannot say this about everyone else. Some people have saved, a city. Some people have saved planets, but no one's saved absolutely everything that has and ever will exist. But the Flash did in taking care of the Anti-Monitor's weapon and sacrificing himself in the process, becoming one with the Speed Force, and essentially dying until just a few years ago. So, like many other characters, such as Hal Jordan, he was absent from the DC universe for quite some time. Although he does make some reappearances in very, very important parts of the DC universe. In Infinite Crisis, multiple Flashes are there to stop Superboy Prime from destroying creation as well, by taking him into the Speed Force. Albeit, briefly, they did end up helping stopping Superboy Prime. And in Final Crisis, the Flash is there to stop a time-traveling bullet from basically triggering Armageddon. And finally, in the most recent, vastly important part of the DC Universe, the Flashpoint storyline, all hinges on the Flash and what he is to the universe, and what happens when something is changed and the Flash no longer exists. The world becomes vastly different and a terrible place, which irrevocably reboots everything to the New 52, which is the storyline that we're all reading today. So it's been well established for decades now how important the Flash is to the DC universe and all of the characters in it. But he's also a fantastic character. He's got a great set of skills, which many people don't give him credit to. They just think, oh, he can run fast, how valuable can that be? Obviously, you don't know much about what it means to be incredibly fast, to run past the speed of sound, and the speed of light, and the speed of time, and the speed of space, and the speed of the Speed Force. What that enables you to do. Some people think, well, Superman's just as fast as him. Okay, he's not. That's been well established that the Flash is faster than Superman. Superman cannot reach the Speed Force on his own, or any of the other high accelerated speeds that the Flash is able to get himself up to. But people think that running fast is the only thing he can do. So of course he's got accelerated healing. He's got endurance. All the things that come with being able to run fast, need all the things to maintain that. Decelerated aging, which is pretty self-explanatory. Just look at any fictional thing where people go fast. He can do energy construct creation through the matter generated by the creation of solid objects. By just being able to move so fast, he could make a lot of things that seem like they're there just because of how fast that they're moving. A very limited sense of flight, just by able to move fast. He can helicopter his way anywhere, but running is faster, of course. Increased perceptions on him to perceive all the things that he can at these fast speeds. The infinite mass punch, because of course when you come close to infinite speed, you come close to infinite mass, and when you can convert that into a punch, that will send a metahuman across continents. Although this is something that's very rarely used because it requires attention and stress for every single moment of your movement. But he can also phase through anything pretty much by just vibrating his molecules so quickly that they're intangible in short bursts. Self-sustenance, he can share the Speed Force, which allows people to run alongside him, which can be useful, as well as the Speed Force aura to protect himself as well as others. He's a Speed Force conduit, so he can tap into the Speed Force. He's one of the people that has been able to escape the Speed Force, which is a very romantic thing within itself that requires more elaboration that I'm not going to get into. He's basically one with the Speed Force since he's the one who created it, so this gives him resistance to other speedsters, so they can't steal or deactivate his speed. His supercharged brain activity, of course. He can run fast, obviously, and he can use vortex creations. He can independently move certain parts of his body very fast to do specific things. So has a very, very cool set of skills that are very important throughout many storylines, and he's always a crucial character. He is a constant hope in the DC universe, which is why in the Blackest Night storyline, he's given the Blue Lantern ring, because he represents hope. We always talk about the trinity of the DC universe, how Superman is the legend, and Batman is the myth, and Wonder Woman is the heart of the DC universe. Well, I and many others who know the DC universe very well, and who like The Flash, would posit the idea that The Flash would be the embodiment of DC's soul, the very thing that makes this mythology so unique and so awesome, and has been able to span generations and will continue to in the future, much like the Scarlet Speedster. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave any comments below, as well as any questions that you think I might be able to answer. And stay tuned for next week, while I go over another very important character who does what needs to be done, Wonder Woman.